We're live.
Good afternoon. This is the House Judiciary Committee on the 10th of March, 2022. We're in a voting session now. We have a number of bills here before us. And I'm actually just going to jump right into the bills. I know we've got some withdrawals, but we'll just get right into the bills. We're on House Bill 205, Delegate Bartlett's bill, and there is an amendment. Let's do this. Is there, Delegate Bartlett, are you moving the amendment?
Yes, please, Mr. Chair, I move the amendment.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, that's fine. Now we'll, Delegate Bartlett, can you tell us what the amendment does and how it changes the bill, please?
Yes, so the amendment, what we did was we took out two sections because we wanted it to be the same as the Senate bill. And 1 second, I'll tell you. So we took out sections 2-211 and 2-212. There was some coordination with the Secretary of State's office, and I think they wanted to spend a little bit more time on that. Can you get my thing out of the trunk? And then also, just to start at the top, I started at the bottom first, but 2-106 was covering a blanket bond. We don't need that because they're already covered by the insurance division of the state treasurer. They've also worked it out with the comptroller. And 2-208 and 2-210, those are pre-printed blanks, which we also don't need anymore because the forms are computer generated. So I think that's my bad. I think that's everything on the amendment. Sorry about that. I'm trying to do multi duty here.
Yes, but you're not driving, so that's fine.
Nope, I'm not driving.
Not driving. All right. Are there questions for Delegate Bartlett related to the amendments? I don't see anybody raising their hands. I'm watching Delegate McComas because she's doing her facial expression has her going for the raise hand button, but she doesn't raise her hand button, so that's fine. All right, seeing there are no questions, all in favor of the amendment to House Bill 205, please raise your hands. I see Lopez, Shoemaker, Cham, Williams, Moon, McComas, Shetty, Anderson, Crutchfield, Cox, Grammer, Munoz, Howell, Fisher, Bartlett, Jones, Davis, Tolles. Anybody opposed? Don't see anybody opposed. Okay, we're on the bill as amended. Is there further discussion on the bill as amended?
Favorable.
Motion for a favorable and a second. Any further discussion? All right, let's go ahead then. The Vice Chair.
Yes.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Erican.
Yeah.
Bartlett.
Yes.
Carden is excused. Conaway is excused.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, he's here. Never mind. Good. Cox,
Yes.
Crutchfield,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Juanita Fisher.
Is this a Bartlett bill?
I know it's a problem, isn't it?
Okay, yes.
Grammer,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Rachel Jones,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
McComas,
Yes.
Munoz,
Yes.
Shetty,
Yes.
Cham,
Yes.
Tolles,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
All right, that's 20. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna go skip ahead to 639 because it came out of the family law. Didn't we come out of the family law subcommittee? We
That
did.
is correct.
Okay, I got something right. There's no amendments. Is that correct, Elliot Crutchfield?
That is correct. There are no amendments.
Move favorable.
Motion to
Second.
favorable in second. Okay. Anybody have any comments on House Bill 639? Delegate Lopez, don't yawn. I mean, didn't mean to yawn about.
She's got little ones.
I understand. Delegate Cox has a question, though. Go ahead.
Thank you. And I know, I think Delegate Atterbury has had similar bills before. I just was curious, just to be real clear, this removes the statutory separation in a marital situation. So there would be no more any grounds for legal separation of the parties under statute. You'd have to do that, through your agreement negotiation. Is that the basic gist? Is that the summary?
Yeah, so there's no limited divorce, if that's what you mean.
Well, yeah, that's
right.
kind of what I meant. It's
Yes.
used in my limited experience under limited work on this for separation purposes. I think it's more like a financial divorce, right?
Right. That's my understanding too. You're absolutely right. It's just a, tentative period of time for, yes.
So I'm just curious, what was the rationale for removing options for parties when it seems like the goal, Delegate Atterbury's goal was to increase options?
Well, that's what she did. I mean, it's not really removing anything. It's really adding to and saying that this is a quicker, cleaner way to do things, because now you have these 4 separate grounds, right? Instead of unlimited abilities to do things, instead of making it a fault situation. Now you have something that, for example, why did we really need the limited divorce? It's not used that much, but except in situations, as you mentioned. So that's what this was. The whole intent is just to make this a cleaner process for people.
So I had one of these cases, and you can get a immediate financial separation. You don't have to wait 6 months, in other words, but under this bill now, you'd have to wait 6 months, I think, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Further questions? If not, there's a motion and a second. So we'll do a roll call. The Vice Chair,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Arkan,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Cardin is excused. Conaway,
Yes.
Cox,
As Madam Chair Atterbury knows, for the hopeless romantic in me, no.
noted. Crutchfield,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Juanita Fisher,
Yes.
Grammer,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Rachel Jones,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
McComas,
Yes.
sure.
Not really. I'm afraid my husband might use it on me.
Okay. Munoz,
Yes.
Shetty,
Yes.
Sham,
Yes.
Tolles. Tolles? Delegate Tolles. You're muted, Delegate Tolles. Delegate Tolles, you have to unmute. You're trying to figure, she's saying yes. She
I
has-
can't find my screen went
Okay.
away. Yes, sorry.
Y'all gonna kill me. Williams,
Yes.
all right. That, I think that's 19 to 1. Okay, 877. There is an amendment. I believe we sent this go through. No, we did not do this one. This is administration bill that has an amendment. Lauren, counsel, could I ask counsel please to tell us what the bill does?
Yes, so the bill essentially requires juveniles charged as adults to be held in a juvenile facility when the child is awaiting trial or other legal process, except under specific circumstances. And it's needed to come into compliance with a federal law so that the state does not lose federal funding. The amendments were requested by the department, and the amendment provides that compliance with the provisions that prohibit a child from having sight and sound contact with adult inmates may not be achieved through the use of seclusion or isolation. And it also gives Baltimore City until October 1st to be in compliance with the provisions of the bill.
Are there questions regarding,
Favorable.
or, well, we
Second.
have, there's an amendment, right?
Yes.
Okay, what does the amendment do? Just, it's like a technical correction, I think.
Well, that's the part that says that
Oh, no.
compliance with the provisions that prohibit the sight and sound contact with adult inmates can't be achieved through the use of seclusion or isolation, and then gives Baltimore City the time to come into compliance.
I'm sorry you said that. I apologize. Well, I'm not sorry.
No,
you
no
said that. I'm
problem.
sorry that I missed that. That's fine. Let's do this. There's an amendment. Can I have their motion and a second on the amendment? All in favor of the amendment to 877, raise your hands. Or your baby's hands. Lopez, Shoemaker, Cham, Cox, Crutchfield, Williams, Moon, McComas, Grammer, Munoz, Davis, Jones, Howell, Fisher, Shetty, Tolles, Bartlett, Anderson. Anybody opposed? Seeing none opposed, the amendment's adopted. Now we're on the bill. It's amended.
Move favorable.
And there's a motion.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion on the bill? Okay. The vice chair,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erican,
No.
okay. Bartlett,
Yes.
Carden is excused. Conaway,
Yes.
Cox,
I would love to vote yes, but just have to vote no because of some of the crimes involved. But thank you, Mr. Chair.
Crutchfield,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Juanita Fisher,
Yes.
Grammer,
No.
Howell,
Yes.
Rachel Jones,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
McComas,
Yes.
Munoz,
Yes.
Shetty,
Yes.
Cham,
Yes.
Tolles,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
All right. The 17-3. Okie dokie. We will continue my completely confusing skipping around and go to 990, Delegate Crutchfield's bill, which is not amended. And Delegate Crutchfield, there's motion for a favorable. Is there a
Second.
Okay, fine. Delegate Crutchfield, tell us again what the bill does, please.
It codifies the Maryland rules, which state that a person can receive payment for an attorney for a disabled guardianship of property of a disabled person. I'm sorry, guardianship for property of a disabled person.
Are there questions? Good Shoemaker says no. All right. Seeing no questions, we'll go to a roll call. The vice chair,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erican,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Carden is excused. Conaway,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Crutchfield,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Juanita Fisher,
Yes.
Grammer,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Rachel Jones,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
McComas,
Yes.
Munoz,
Yes.
Shetty,
Yes.
Jam,
What bill are we on again? I'm sorry.
990.
990.
990.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Tolles,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
All right. So from yesterday, we did House Bill 441. Now, I will admit to having been caught out, and I had a moment to speak with my Senate cross-file, Senator McCray. We haven't been able to speak. We've been texting back and forth. Delegate McComas asked an important question yesterday. I thought it was limited to just the crimes that were initially in the bill. It does, in fact, require DPSCS in Baltimore City and only in Baltimore City. If someone is released pre-trial, it requires them to send a message basically to the Baltimore Police Department. My understanding from Senator McCray is that DPSCS is able to do this and that the judiciary is able to do it, the judiciary, I believe, is able to do it because by not limiting it to a few crimes, at least as I understand it, it is less of a challenge for them because they're just saying, okay, these people were released. There were points yesterday about, should this be something that the state's attorney's office simply does with the Baltimore Police Department? Probably, yeah. But having said that, having a backup is maybe not a bad thing, and particularly in more serious cases. So to that end, that's now what the bill does. There is an amendment that again makes it a Baltimore City bill. I don't think we adopted it yesterday. So the amendment makes it Baltimore City bill. Motion for a favorable on the amendment and a second. Fine. All in favor. Do you have a question, Delegate McComas? Okay. All in favor of the amendment, raise your hands. Shoemaker, Cham, Anderson, Cox, Crutchfield, Williams, Moon, McComas, Grammer, Munoz, Davis, Jones, Martin, Howell, Fisher, Tolles, Bartlett, and Shetty. Anybody opposed? No.
Move favorable.
Motion for a favorable.
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. The Vice Chair,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Arakan.
Yes.
Someday I'm going to actually pronounce her name right. It's been 4 years. I don't know. I think it helps that my voice is raspy. Bartlett.
Yes.
Pardon is excused. Conaway,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Crutchfield,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Juanita Fisher.
Yes.
Oh boy. Grammer,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Rachel Jones,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
McComas,
Yes.
Munoz,
Yes.
Shetty,
Yes.
Cham,
Yes.
Tolles,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
20 to nothing. If staff wouldn't mind getting me a cup of water, that'd be awesome. I'm doing the best I can. And everybody, this is the last bill, House Bill 965. Now, I understand there have been some discussions. That's fine. There is an amendment. The amendment would change the cap in the bill from 25,000 to 15,000.
Move the amendment.
Motion moved and seconded. All in favor of the amendment, please raise your hands. All right.
Question, just very briefly, Mr. Chair.
Oh, well, you've got a question on the amendment? On the
I'm
amendment.
sorry.
I'm sorry, everybody. Question on the amendment.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can we just talk about the impetus of the amendment? What was the discussion? I must have missed that.
I think there was discussion that I had with the sponsor and some of the people who were opposed to the bill to find some point where they could agree on a number. And they came to 15,000 as the point where they agreed on a number.
Okay, thank you.
Let me rephrase, or they could live with the number. It was agree or live with the number. Delegate McComas on the amendment.
Yes, sir. Basically, I had gotten an email from one of my folks that was head of I think the Harford County Veterinary Group or whatever. And basically, were the vets good with this and the veterinary pack guy, or in other words, are they good with it? They can live with it?
The information that I have from the sponsor was that the vets were happy with it and sent a letter. That is the information I have from the sponsor.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think they were afraid that their insurance rates were going to go sky high and that this would have people bail out of the veterinary industry and everything. So sounds like that won't happen. Whoops.
All right.
Out of control. She's out of control. Oh, Lord.
Are there further questions on the amendment? No, you can't have any more questions, Delegate McCombs. All right, fine. All in favor of the amendment, please raise your hands. I see McComas, Lopez, Shoemaker, Cham, Cox, Crutchfield, Williams, Moon, Anderson, Grammer, Munoz, Davis, Jones, Howell, Fisher, Bartlett, Shetty. Anybody opposed to the amendment? Seeing none.
Move
All right, the
favorable.
amendment's adopted. There is a favorable motion.
Second.
Second. Now, if there, I will say a short story. My memory of my first term, when I was here with Delegate McComas on this committee, we had Delegate Anderson and Delegate Conaway, and not Delegate Cardin, because Delegate Cardin wasn't on this committee then. Was that we dealt with a lot of cases related to dog bites, a lot of bills related to dog bite cases. And we went round and round on them. So I will say in advance of the discussion here that I understand people, I don't know that people feel necessarily strongly about it, but people come at these things from interesting and different places. So I think this will be an interesting and different discussion that maybe we've had, and that is perfectly fine. And with that, let's start with Delegate Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to start the conversation with, I am the proud mother of a beautiful grand dog that my daughter couldn't wait to get the moment she bought her own house. But I have 15 different reasons why I think this that this bill, as written, even at 15,000, sends the wrong message, just because of what we do in our committee. And so I'll start with what I do for a living. I handle personal injury cases. So because this bill says that it is a torturous, that you can recover for a tort, that means an auto accident per se. So not only when you hit a car, if you damage the dog when you have a car accident, you can be sued for as I read it, you can be sued for the damage to the dog, as is all the passengers in there. And in the state of Maryland, you only have to carry $30,000 in liability insurance. So I guess I guess with the extra liability of maybe I could hurt a dog, maybe I might even hit a dog, but maybe I could hurt a dog that's a passenger in a car, that I would that maybe I should raise my insurance, because now, well, I don't hold minimum limits, but maybe the citizenry as a whole might need to up their insurance. That's my first thing. Second is when we started talking, I mean, I had a stronger argument when it was 25K, right, you guys? But didn't we just vote on 25K liability for police officers with qualified immunity, right? And that's still in the desk. So now we're bringing out stuff that has to do with life and death or damages to a dog, and we still haven't dealt with qualified immunity and damages to actual individuals at the hands of police. I think the fact that it's non-intentional bothers me too. So it's simply a tort. It means you knew or should have known that you could cause damage to something, and you did. And I think that's a really low standard. I've got all kinds of stuff. I've never, and basically social equity, it gives me great pause that we would do this, that is the time right now to raise this at all. And I do think it will have unintentional consequences regarding insurance issues. So that's my spiel.
All right, Delegate Juanita Fisher.
Okay, my comments will not compare to that. Thank you, Delegate Davis. I will just say I'm very happy we decreased the amount in this bill. I would say I think it's just a matter of priorities. I think every member of this committee brings in a whole host of bills that are important to our communities, on children, on crime, on guns, on drugs, on so many things. And I think it's hard for me to understand why this is a priority. I think that's what's really bothering me. I think the economic is okay, but I think that's the comment I wanted on the record, that we think this is a priority compared to all the other issues that we discuss in this committee.
Delegate Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think this is one of these issues like the minimum wage and some of the other caps where we revisit them periodically and adjust them. So just, to Delegate Davis and Delegate Fisher's points, I also support the qualified immunity repeal bills. So, I'm a yes to all of the above. But as to, getting outside of that sort of comparative framework and just to the nuts and bolts of this bill, $15,000, I think, is a very reasonable amount. I know it may shock some to hear it, but I'm now a pet owner, and there are actual serious costs, for medical costs, that one can incur with pets if you choose to try and give them optimal medical attention. So in the old days, maybe people didn't do that, but these days many people do take on extra healthcare costs if their pet has cancer, things of that nature. And so I think in the case of, say, an auto accident, there's the old saying about hitting a car with someone with a thin skull, inside. You got to be careful, but also you have to be responsible for the consequences of your actions. And so again, if you injure someone's pet and they do incur significant medical costs with that, it doesn't feel right to me that you would make that person absorb that cost on their own, even though it was your fault that put their pet in that situation. So I understand, the dynamics here, but again, I'm a yes to compensating all of these folks, including the ones here.
Delegate Cardin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. I know with the amendments, is this just increase in the economic damages to 15,000?
Yeah, this is not the bill. There were two of these bills. One of them allowed for recovery of non-economic damages. This is only compensatory damages, and it raises the cap now from 10 to 15,000.
So all we're doing is raising the cap from 10 to 15,000 for damages to a dog. So, for example, if I, as one of my clients did, took his dog to one of the large pet stores to have it groomed, they dropped the dog, broke all 4 legs, and had $11,000 in surgical. They can only recover 10,000. Now they could actually recover the full 11,000 in economic damages. Is that correct? If this bill goes into effect?
I believe that's correct.
Okay. I'm going to support this bill. Thank you.
That's correct. Compensatory or actual damages? What are we talking about?
In the bill, the damages awarded under paragraph 1, it says, paragraph 1, person who tortiously causes an injury or death of a pet while acting individually or through an animal under the person's ownership, direction, or control is liable to the owner of the pet for compensatory damages.
Okay, but what Delegate Cardin was talking about were the actual medical bills, which are actual damages, not compensatory damages, right?
Right, under the bill, it's under the law, compensatory damages, it's not changing under this bill. Compensatory damages means in the case of the death of a pet, the fair market value of the pet before death, and the reasonable and necessary cost of veterinary care, and in the case of an injury to a pet, the reasonable and necessary cost of veterinary care.
Okay, so, all right, thank you.
Okay. Delegate Moon, did you want to talk again?
Oh, no, sorry, that my hand's still up.
All right. Are there further questions or comments on the bill? All right, we're on the bill as amended. All right, let's Delegate Tolles.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Do we have the letter from the vets to say that they are okay with this change?
I do not know that. I had a message from the sponsor, and if you'd like, I'm happy to get the letter, and we can just come back to this on Monday.
That'd be great.
That would be great.
Sure,
Let's do that.
No, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, does anybody else?
No, I was gonna say, I was texting with the vets and they are fine with it, but you don't have to take my word. You can wait for the letter.
No, that's fine. I mean, look, we should have the letter anyway for the bill file. So let's go ahead and get the letter for the bill file, and then we can deal with it on Monday. It's totally fine. All right. Okay. I think.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, I think it's fine. Look, I mean, I take the questions about priorities and everything else. I would, that's fine. I understand also that issues related to these kind of specific caps under the law, as I said at the beginning, can be very contentious. And this committee has dealt with these issues in the past. And as was pointed out by Delegate Moon, we from time to time do seek to raise these caps, and we raise the caps over time, just as we've addressed caps in other areas of the law as well. But for right now, I have two bills. We will hold on to House Bill 1375 from Delegate Kipke, because that was a package set with 965. We will not do that withdrawal today. We will do the withdrawals of two bills, 1155 and 1158. Delegate McComas and Delegate Silberti have both sought to withdraw and move them unfavorable. So that's perfectly fine, as long as we have a motion for an unfavorable withdrawal.
Move unfavorable.
All right, is a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor of unfavorable withdrawn, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nobody's opposed, fine. So those bills are withdrawn unfavorable. So where we are, 11 o'clock tomorrow is our floor session, 12 o'clock is the Family Law Subcommittee, 3 o'clock is no longer a vote session. I'll meet with subcommittee at that time after the Family Law Subcommittee. So just stay tuned for that specific time. All right, that concludes the voting session for today. Thank you all very much. And we will see you again probably Monday for another voting session. Thank you.
Honey, lemon, and tea, Mr. Chair.